अमेरिका के खिलाफ खड़ा हुआ था, आपको कहीं अपना अंजाम खुदा न खासा वैसा तो नहीं नजर आता?
देखें, मैं गुनाहगार आदमी हूँ, लेकिन अल्लाह में पूरा ईमान है। कुरान में वाज़ेह तौर पे लिखा हुआ है कि आपका वक्त मुकर्रर है। सिर्फ आपके हाथ में क्या है, शेर की तरह जाना है या गीदड़ की तरह जाना है।
Lions who would not bow. A documentary script, 3 lives, 1 fire, 1 truth. The tiger of Mysore. In the 18th century, every king of the subcontinent was making a choice: surrender to the British or fight. Most chose survival. One man chose something else. He chose death with his sword in his hand. Tipu Sultan writes to Napoleon, writes to the Ottoman Sultan, writes to Persia. The letters are shown, yellowed, undelivered, or unanswered. He is entirely alone facing an empire. He begged no one for mercy. He sent rockets, literal rockets, into British lines when the entire world was still fighting with muskets. He built a navy from nothing. He ran a postal system, minted coins with his own motto: death is better than a life of humiliation. May 4th, 1799. Srirangapatna has fallen. Tipu is offered his life if he surrenders. He refuses. The camera lingers on his face, not fear. Something else. Resolution. Better to live one day as a lion than 1,000 years as a jackal. Attributed to Tipu Sultan. They found him under a pile of bodies. Still holding his sword. Still wearing his tiger stripe robe. The British officers who killed him stood over him in silence. Because even in death, he terrified them. Fade. His sword is carried away. A soldier looks back at the body. Hold. Silence. Then, a single drum. The men who gave them a voice. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto looked at Pakistan and saw something no leader before him dared to see: poor people. He didn't just see them. He spoke to them. He told them roti, kapra, or makan. Bread. Cloth. A roof. The basics. And for that, they loved him like he was their own blood. Cut to factories being nationalized. Schools opening in dusty towns. Farmers receiving land documents, some crying, kissing the paper. The 1973 Constitution being signed, the only one Pakistan ever wrote for itself, by itself. He built steel mills, atomic programs, a constitution that belonged to the people. He sat at Simla and stared down Indira Gandhi across a table. He never lowered his eyes. July 5, 1977. Tanks roll through Islamabad streets before dawn. Zia-ul-Haq. Cut to Bhutto being taken, still in his formal suit, still upright. Dignity intact. Then the cell. Then the trial. They kept him in Rawalpindi district jail for months. His wife and daughter were placed under house arrest. His lawyers were intimidated. The judge, pressured. The verdict, written before the trial began. Bhutto knew it. He still argued his own case with the ferocity of a man who believes truth matters even when the room has already decided. If I am killed, democracy will be the biggest victim. But democracy will come back. It always does. A dark corridor. Pre-dawn. Guards walking. A door opening. The gallows, spare, cold. Bhutto walks toward them. No record of tears. He asks for water. He is hanged before sunrise. The world's heads of state sent appeals, from the Pope to Leonid Brezhnev. Zia refused them all. Because Bhutto alive was more dangerous than any army. Bhutto alive meant the people remembered who had spoken for them. Fade. His grave in Garhai-Kuta Baksh. Then, thousands standing at it in silence. Women in white. Old men weeping without shame. She could have stayed in London. She had every reason to. She had every right to. Her father had just been murdered by the state. Her brothers would both die under suspicious circumstances. Her family was dismantled, piece by piece. And yet, she came back. Every single time. Lahore. 1 million people on the streets to greet her. She stands on a truck, wind in her hair, white dupatta flying. The crowd is weeping and screaming her name at the same time. She is 33 years old. She was jailed. She was placed under house arrest for years. Her phones were tapped. Her marriages were monitored by intelligence agencies. She negotiated with dictators just to be allowed to stand on Pakistani soil. She became prime minister twice, and each time was removed before she could finish. Rural health centers opening. Girls' schools. Meetings with foreign leaders where she is the only woman in the room, and clearly the sharpest mind in it. She speaks at the UN. She speaks at Harvard. She speaks in order to farmers who have never owned a radio. You can imprison a man but not an idea. You can exile a man but not his legacy. Benazir Bhutto. She returns from 8 years of exile. 1 million people welcome her. Then, darkness. An explosion. Bodies. 179 people dead. She survives, barely. She gives a press conference the next morning, composed, determined. She says, "They cannot frighten me." The last day. A rally at Liaquat Bog. The same park where Liaquat Ali Khan was assassinated half a century before. She waves to the crowd through the sunroof of her vehicle. The world holds its breath. Then, the shot. Then the blast. Then, silence across an entire nation. They took her the same way they take everyone who refuses to bow. From behind. In the dark. In a crowd. Because they are always afraid of what the people would do if they faced her honestly. Fade. Rain on her grave in Garhai Kudabaksh, beside her father. 2 graves, same earth, same betrayal.
टीपू सुल्तान की तरह जाना है या बहादुर शाह जफर की तरह गुलामी में जाना है तो अल्लाह करे कि इज्जत की मौत है.
He built a cancer hospital with donations from ordinary people when the state had abandoned. He built a university in a forgotten corner of the country. He ran for office and lost, and ran again. And again. For 22 years. 22 years of being laughed at, written off, arrested, and dismissed. And then, the people gave him the government. Health cards reaching the poorest districts. Billion Tree Project. Diplomatic visits where Pakistan, for once, negotiated from principle, not fear. He walks out of IMF talks. He refuses to take sides in a war that isn't his country's war. The establishment watches, furious. He said things from a prime ministerial podium that no Pakistani leader had ever dared say, that American drone strikes were wrong. That his country would not be rented out. That there is no dignity in a foreign policy run by someone else's phone calls.
बाकी ये जो मौत से डरना है, अच्छा जी ड्रोन मार दिया तो हम तबाह हो जाएंगे. ये जनरल मुशर्रफ ने क्या कहा था? अगर हम अमेरिका की बात ना मानते, उनकी जंग में ना शामिल होते तो उन्होंने तबाह कर देना था. अपने आप को तबाह. अमेरिका के खौफ से 40,000
A vote of no confidence. His government falls in the night. He holds a rally the next morning, bigger than anything before it. He is removed. He rallies. He is arrested. He rallies again. They arrested him at a courthouse with commandos. They put him in a tug fort, where the British used to keep revolutionaries. His lawyers were beaten. His party workers jailed by the thousands. His name was removed from television. And still, the people came. A leader is not one who bows when the powerful push. A leader is one who stands when standing costs everything. Imran Khan. Adiala jail. A man who once held the World Cup. A man who shook hands with kings and presidents. Now in a cell. Reading. Writing. Waiting. Still, not breaking. History is watching. The same history that watched Tipu fall at Srirangapatna. The same history that watched Bhutto walk to the gallows. The same history that watched Benazir wade from a sunroof one last time. History does not judge by who won. History judges by who, when it cost everything, still refused to bow. 4 stories. One question, repeated across centuries, repeated across this soil, repeated in every generation that dares to ask it. When the empire comes for you, when they offer your life in exchange for your silence, what do you say? Better one day as a lion. Every name on this screen,
मैं फिर से मैंने किसी पे एहसान नहीं किया। अल्लाह ने दिया मुझे इतना ज्यादा, मेरी जिम्मेदारी थी कि मैं अपनी कौम के लिए कुछ करूं। अब मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सब पूरा जोर लगाएं अपनी जिंदगी बदलने के लिए।